world is a messed up place right now, right? You've got the Iranian-Israeli conflict, you've got the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, and you don't even hear about Russia-Ukraine anymore because of Iran and Israel. And you've got Trump in charge of the free world, and he changes his mind about things every 30 seconds. So the world is messed up right now. But what does this mean for markets? Welcome to Simply Forex, guys. If you want to improve as a trader, then you're definitely in the right place. Each week, I'm going to give you easy to follow trade ideas, tips, and advice so you too can succeed at trading. And if you stay to the end of this vid, I'm going to give you all of my swing trades for this week. If that sounds like a plan, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash that like button. As always, guys, we have got so much to get through, right? At the top of the show, I mentioned how buggered the world is. So you would expect flight to safeties like yen to be really strong, but the opposite is true, right? So we're going to make sense of that. We're also going to look at the US dollar. Is the US dollar back? We're starting to see some strength come into the dollar. We're also going to look at the strength of the euro, and oil off the back of the Iranian-Israeli conflict is flying, and the implications that has for the Canadian dollar. So lots to get through. Where to start? We're going to start with the flight to safeties. So this is euro yen, and this is the weekly chart. And just look at it, guys. It is absolutely flying, right? So that is euro strength, which we are seeing as well. But look at the yen weakness, right? And as I said, there's so much turbulence in the world right now. You would expect yen to be strong, but it's just not. In fact, euro yen would be a buy trade idea for this week. So this would be my first trade idea. We're in a weekly uptrend, okay, and we've just got nothing but bullish candles. And we do have, the potential to come all the way back up to these highs up here, okay? It is a little bit overbought, which again is surprising, right? It's a little bit overextended. So I'd want to see a pullback of some sort, perhaps into this level, even this level, right? And then we can start buying euro yen back up to here, okay? But yen is weak, right? If we look at Swiss franc yen, this is my second trade idea for this week. And as you can see, if we look at the weekly chart, we're looking at the weekly chart because these are swing trades, right? We can be in them for some time. But you can see we're clearly in an uptrend, right? Again, we're a little bit overextended, right? I'd want to see a pullback into some value. But then we can start buying Swiss franc yen back up to these highs in here, right? And it's really surprising with everything going on. So yen is weak, right? So we want to try and understand why yen is weak. And to look at that, guys, we need to understand the indices, right? So if we go to the NASDAQ, again, this is the weekly chart. And the NASDAQ, as we know, has just been flying, right? Because of all, the things about tariffs, etc., seem to be dying down a bit. They're not going away, but they're dying down. There's lots of pauses, etc., right? And, investors just saw this with, took this with complete confidence in the market. And we've seen nothing but buying pressure. But because of that, yen has been weak, right? But now what's really going to be interesting, I spoke about this last week in last week's weekly forecast, is the fact that we are back at these highs now, right? And if you look at the candles, we are starting to see some bearish weekly candles, guys, come into the market. So can we expect a bit of a retrace from this level? I would suggest looking at the fact that we're at a resistance level, right? And the fact that we're getting nice big bearish candles, right? And the fact that we're very overextended, I would suggest this will be a good area for a retrace in the market. And that would actually lead to some yen strength, right? But then perhaps the market can take off from here again. We shall see. But what this is telling me, guys, is potentially a bit of a retrace from this level. So that strength in the indices is why we're seeing weakness in the yen, right? But if we look at gold, which is another flight to safety, gold still remains strong, right? There's nothing stopping gold. Central banks are buying gold. It's pinned against the US dollar. US dollar looks like it'll be reducing interest rates later this year, right? Everything is leading to gold strength. And we are at resistance, but this is actually a buy trade for this week. Okay, so let me explain, right? So this is the weekly chart, and we are just hitting this level, okay? And this is clearly resistance up here, all right, on the weekly chart. But we do have look at that candle, buying candle compared to the selling candle. Buyers do still seem in control. And then if we drop down to the day chart, this chart is like a textbook exercise version of an uptrend. Yeah, look at this blue line. That's the trend line, right? And look how this uptrend is just obeying that level. That is a textbook uptrend. You never see an uptrend like that, right? Take a picture of it, guys. That is the perfect uptrend. And at this level, right, not only have we got the moving average 20, but we've got this trend line as well. And just look at these bullish candles we're starting to see. So I think gold is actually a buy trade this week back up to these highs in here. All right. I wouldn't want to take it any further, guys, because we know there's big weekly resistance here. So gold is a flight to safety where potentially we can see some strength come into it. So gold and yen, they sort of broke correlation a bit, really, which is interesting. So they're the flight to safeties, guys, right? What do we want to look at next? Let's take a quick look at the US dollar, right? There's not necessarily any trades here, but I just want to show you some of the US dollar pairs on the weekly chart, right? Pound, for example, right? Super overextended, as with a lot of US dollar pairs. And now we're starting to see big selling candles, right? Can we expect to see some US dollar strength and this drop further? I don't want to trade it right now because we're literally at a support level, right? But we are starting to see big bearish candles. If we look at any of the US dollar pairs, let's look at Aussie dollar, US dollar. Look at that weekly candle. That is super bearish. I would expect we can see more of a retrace potentially back down to here with Aussie dollar, US dollar. If you look at any of them, guys, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, look at that great big weekly candle. Can we expect more of a sell-off? I would suggest we can, right? Start to come down towards the moving average 20 because price wants to revert back to the mean, which is what the moving average 20 is. And even, things like US dollar yen, as I said, guys, this is weak at the moment, right? We're seeing big bullish candles, but no trades really, because a lot of these are buying into potential resistance or selling into support. But I just wanted to show you that the US dollar looks like it has some momentum and some strength. Right, more trade ideas, guys. Right, let's take a look at oil. Before we do, if I could please ask everyone to come smash the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button as well, but smash the like button. Also, guys, please don't forget to come join our trading community. We have the free Discord. You can come in there, you can share knowledge, share trade ideas, have a chit chat. So please come join our trading community. Also, guys, if you want access to all of our premium trading education, including our new course, then please check out the website www.simply-forex.com. Also, guys, please leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think of my trade ideas. Please let me know what you think is going on in the market. And also, please leave a question related to trading. We can create a video for you. Right, oil, the black gold, is absolutely flying, right? Off the back of the Iranian-Israeli conflict, oil has just gone kerpow, in the words of Batman, right? Super duper strong. That's West Texan Intermediate, and this is Brent. They're, very similar, guys, obviously, right? But they are flying, okay? Now, there's no trade here for me. Right? Even if we wanted to buy oil, you can see prices stuttering a bit here with these wicks. And also there's no value. Yeah, I want to retrace before we start buying oil. And also just tread carefully with oil. If you are an oil trader, you know, it's going to be volatile, right? The longer this Iranian-Israel conflict goes on, will Trump get involved? Will he not? Who knows? But it's going to make oil very volatile, as you can already see, guys, right? So there's no trade idea here. In fact, I'd probably keep away from oil for a little bit because of all the turbulence. But we do have some Canadian dollar trade. So off the back of this oil strength, we know that oil is positively correlated with Canadian dollar strength. So if oil is strong, Canadian dollar is strong. And that leads me to my next trade ideas. So the first one is New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. So again, guys, if we just follow structure, first of all, you can see that we are in a downtrend, right? We're in a downtrend because these highs haven't been broken and they're holding, and we still have lower lows, right? We're in a downtrend, but we have had weeks, months of consolidation, right? Literally, okay? But if we look at these candles now, guys, if we zoom in a little bit, look at these candles. Sellers are really starting to take control of this market. All right. So all I'm looking to do with New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar is take it back down to this 0.8100 level. Okay. And the same is true with Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. This is another trade idea, swing trade for this week. Okay. This is the weekly chart. And again, you can just see we are in a downtrend. Right, we're getting lower lows, lower highs, right? We're tracking, bouncing off the moving average 20. And obviously the candles are similar, right? Look at these candles. Sellers are in control for me, right? So again, we're looking to take price back down to this 0.8750 psychological level. So you're probably thinking, so this is important, guys, right? So you're probably thinking, Tom, why is 0.8750 a psychological level? Well, if you're swing trading, right, generally you're looking at the weekly, but it makes sense to take a look at the monthly, right? And if you look at the monthly, just look at the size of that wick bouncing off of these lows here, right? So I don't expect price to come all the way back down to here. Because look at the bounce we've had off that level, right? Price has really rejected that level. So if we're in this scenario where we like the weekly chart for sells, but we're seeing this massive bounce off of this support level, then if we go back to the weekly chart, even if the market does want to reverse, right? Let's say the market wants to do this, right? Then generally speaking, this is a good idea to find a fib level, right? So if we go down to those lows and take it up to these highs, right, you can see that this 0.5 fib level is a good target for this very scenario, yeah, where you're seeing a monthly bullish candle. You're thinking, Tom, the market could change direction here. Okay, it could, right? But what I'm saying is if it does want to reverse, price may make its way back down to the 0.5 fib first, and then it might want to change direction. Okay, so in this scenario where we don't have any real levels in here or price action to call upon, we can use a fib in this scenario. All right, so that explains the target at 0.8750. So that's Canadian dollar strength off the back of that oil just flying. And then we're also seeing euro strength. Okay, so these are my other trade ideas for this week. So if we look at, let's look at euro pound first. And I'll explain why I want to look at this first. Now, on the weekly chart, it's just clearly in an uptrend, right? We're getting higher lows, higher highs, right? Clearly in an uptrend. And just look at these candles, bullish. And this one is more bullish because it just has no top wick, right? It's just very strong buying, okay? On the day chart as well, right? And yeah, guys, we could potentially take price all the way back up to these highs. And let me just show you on a day chart as well, because it really pushed through an important level here, right? It broke through this level right here and then actually used it as support. So it's flying, right? I would probably want to see a retrace back into this level, moving average 20, catch up, and then we can start buying euro pound back up to there. Now, I showed you euro pound first, itchy nose. Because of the next trade. So I like Euro Aussie dollar and I like Euro New Zealand dollar for buys. I also like Pound Aussie dollar and Pound New Zealand dollar for buys, right? But if I like Euro Pound for buys, then it makes sense that I focus on Euro Aussie dollar and Euro New Zealand dollar, right? Although I still like Pound Aussie dollar and Pound New Zealand dollar. I hope I haven't confused the hell out of you. I hope that makes sense. So let's understand why I like Euro Aussie dollar. And it's very simple, right? Don't overcomplicate trading, right? We're in an uptrend, okay? We're back towards the moving average 20. We know this is good value. And price has just really just carried on from that level, right? We're getting nice, big, bullish weekly candles, and we've got this room to move into back up to this last level here. So yeah, Euro Aussie dollar buys and also Euro New Zealand buys as well. Exactly the same, guys. Obviously highly correlated, but we're in an uptrend. Price has come back to the moving average 20. It's such a nice moving average, guys. It really acts as dynamic support and resistance. I use it for many things. And ever since we've hit that level, look, we're just getting bounce off of there, bounce off of there, nice bullish candles. And what I also like about this is on the day chart, we have broken this key potential resistance level through here as well, right? This daily candle has broken it. So perhaps a bit of a retrace, and then we can look to take price higher. Just a quick look at Pound Aussie dollar and Pound New Zealand dollar, right? Weekly uptrend, really, maybe a bit of a level there. But if not, we're definitely going to try and take price back up to that level there. Pound Aussie dollar buys and Pound New Zealand dollar buys as well, right? We can look to take price back up to this level. Again, we are in a weekly uptrend still, although we are starting to see potentially lower highs. But with all this buying pressure off these wicks, I think we can take price back up to here as well with Pound New Zealand dollar. Let me just check if that's everything, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button and smash that like button. Please come join our trading community on the free Discord. And also please check out the website for all of our trading education. Please don't forget to leave a comment, guys. It really helps the vid and supports the channel. And I will see you next time.